All right, I'm going to give you one last look at the bottom before we flip it over. Pretty beautiful, I must say. All right, let's get it on the table. That's enough of that. Did it by myself. Wasn't pretty, but it worked. Welcome back to another video, guys. As you saw in the last video, we started some body work. We're getting it ready to prime. Today we're going to work on a couple more dents. We got this one here that should be fun. I'm hoping for the best with it because it's kind of got a little bit of a crease in there. We'll get it as good as we can. And then there's a few more I'm going to try and get, like these little guys here. There's a little one that you can kind of see back here. Let me get a better angle on that. Yeah, right here. So just kind of need to get those low spots up a little bit. We're going to take care of those dents, and then we'll probably sand the whole thing down again with some 180 grit paper, and then get some guide coat on there and block it and make sure we have the lows where we want them and make sure we don't have any highs. And then we're going to get it ready for primer. So let's get into it. All right, let me show you what I'm running into here. So I was trying to work, there's a couple low spots and high spots through here, but this is double walled under here. So when I push under here, it's not actually pushing up directly onto this. So I think I'm gonna leave that as is. Honestly, it's really not bad. And the bed liner is gonna come over the bed rail cap and come down, you know, probably about a ½ inch over here. So it's, with how dull the bed liner is, it's gonna hide a lot of those imperfections. I do see I'm gonna work this little spot in, that'll be easy. But I worked on this dent a little bit. It's a little bit better. It's still a little low, but that's fine. That's what the filler's for. It's, you know, it's less than our 1/8 of an inch. This one's doing really well, just a little tiny spot right in the middle, but again, less than our 1/8 of an inch. This one was a bugger. It's definitely come out a little bit more, but like I said, there's kind of a crease actually in the middle there. So I'm gonna work on it a little bit more, but you can see it's not as bad as it was. It was really high right here from the impact, and that's all gone. It's just right there, there's a little low spot. So It's a little deeper than I would like for that 1/8 inch tolerance, but you know, if that's as good as it gets, I'll be fine with it. So I'll do that real quick, maybe try a little bit more on that, straighten that little part up here out, and then I'm going to sand the whole thing again with 180 grit. So I'm waiting on my wife to get back with the 180 grit sandpaper. You all know how that goes, but anyways, not in a huge rush. But in the meantime, I'm gonna, some of this old seam sealer's just not very good, so you know, there's stuff right here that's all in there really good still, so I'm gonna leave that. But all this stuff that's kind of cracked up and starting to pull out, I'm gonna go through, and you can see a big piece right here. I'm gonna go through and kind of chip that out and put new seam sealer in there. So just something to do while I'm waiting for that sandpaper. All right, guys, we have the 180 grit sandpaper. While I was waiting for that, I got some of this old seam sealer out, and then I also went down the bed rails and sanded them with 80 grit, because I'm gonna have to do that anyways for the bed liner. But so I'm not gonna film this, but I'm going to hit everything with 180 grit pads just real quick, just zip over it, and then we'll be ready to do the body filler wherever we need that. So like I said, I'm not going to film that. You guys have seen enough sanding, so I'll catch up with you when that's done, and then we'll do the body filler. Alright guys, got it all sanded down with the 180 grit. So what I'm going to do is go and clean it real quick. I'm going to use soapy water first, just to get all the major dust off. And then right before I'm ready to do the body filler, I'll go with degreaser and de-waxer. So I'll wash it real quick. We'll get going. Alright, it's all cleaned up, ready for guide coat and blocking to determine where the highs and lows are. So I don't know if I'm going to get to it right now. Looks like we have a system moving in from the southeast, so I might just roll it into the garage right now, and then tomorrow on this same video we'll block it and see where our highs and lows are and start doing the body filler. So for you guys, it's just a couple seconds. For me, it's still tomorrow. So we'll see you guys in the next little bit. So I keep, between every video, I do a lot of research. And from what I've read, it's going to be better to prime this, then do the body filler, get that all smooth, and then do a final coat of primer, and then a final coat of sealer, and then we'll paint it. So that should be the order of operations for this, but I'm going to pull it out, hang the tarps up, or the plastic, and then degrease, de-wax it, and pull it back in, and we should be ready to prime it. Alright guys, let me show you what I have set up here. Got the bed in, and got my master paint booth. Draped tarp, painter's plastic, and taped it to certain things just needs to hang up there for a couple minutes while I prime this. And the nice thing with the bed being on the tool or the workbench that's on wheels is I can kind of push it to one side a little bit to get, you know, I'll push it this way to get this side and then push it the other way to get that side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to de-wax and degrease it real quick, and then I'm going to mask off everything underneath so no overspray gets onto the underside of it, and then we'll be ready to spray it with primer. So I'll catch up with you in just a second. Second coat. Alrighty, got 2 coats on there. Did the second coat right at the flash point. I didn't show this, but I got the fuel door. Got 1 coat on that so far. I'm going to do another coat here in a second. I've got a little bit of primer left in the gun. She looks pretty good though. Although it seems like it's probably going to look really good in there, and then I'll pull it out and I'll see a lot of spots that are not too thick. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then next thing you'll see is starting some body filler work. You can really see the dents much better now that it's got this on it, so that definitely helps. But I think the bed's overall pretty dang straight. There's just those couple that I worked on that aren't quite perfect yet, but with a little bit of body filler we should be able to get it just right. So my makeshift paint booth worked out fine. Won't say that it was the best way to do it, but it worked fine. So alright guys, first coat of primer is done. I've already kind of cleaned up a little bit. So there's the fuel door. I'll walk around it, but it's not the best lighting in here. Let me turn my camera lights on. So you can see kind of some vertical lines. That's actually from the paint gun. Those aren't actually dents. I'll be much more careful about that when I actually paint, but for primer that's going to be sanded, Not to worry. There she is. So I got it a little bit up on the bed rail, but like I said, the bed liner is going to wrap about a 1/2 inch over the bed rail. So there she is. Big progress. All right, guys, so we'll be starting to sand it and do some body filler on this next step. Hope you enjoyed the primer. I thought it was actually really fun, and I'm excited to do more of the priming and finally paint it. So, you know, just one step at a time. That's all there is to it. Anyways, make sure you like the video. Thanks for the support, and we will see you guys in the next one.